Keisha Brown always believed in teaching her students the truth. But today, a history lesson she gave in her classroom sparked a crisis so big that it threatened to shut down the entire school. Parents, students, and even the school administration accused Keisha of pushing an unnecessary agenda. Why was teaching the truth so dangerous? And could Keisha survive this storm while still inspiring her students? Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a battle that would change her life and the lives of her students forever. Keisha stood at the front of her classroom, her students listening intently. "Today," she said, her voice calm but firm, "we're going to talk about one of the darkest chapters in American history, slavery and its impact on our society today." The room fell silent. Some students looked away, while others leaned forward, curious. Keisha wrote "racism and its legacy" on the board. "So," she continued, "why are we still fighting racism today? Where does it all come from?" Just then, the classroom door swung open. The school principal, Mr. Thompson, walked in, his face tense. "Ms. Brown," he said, his voice uneasy, "can I have a word with you?" Keisha told her students to keep reading and followed the principal into the hallway. As the door closed behind her, the students exchanged confused glances. What was going on? In the principal's office, the air was thick with tension. Keisha sat across from him, her expression steady. "Ms. Brown," the principal began, "some parents are complaining that you're pushing an unnecessary agenda in your lessons. They think topics like slavery and racism are too heavy for students this age." Keisha narrowed her eyes. "My students deserve to know the truth," she said. "History isn't just about the past. It's about understanding why things are the way they are today." The principal sighed deeply. "I get that, but the parents are threatening to pull their funding. If you keep teaching these topics, the school could lose a lot of support." Keisha stood up. "Then I'll risk it all to teach my students the truth," she said, walking out of the office. That evening, Keisha sat at her kitchen table, staring at a photo of her grandmother. Her grandmother had been a civil rights activist in the 1960s, and Keisha had always looked up to her. "You taught me to stand up for what's right," Keisha whispered to the photo. "I won't let you down." The next day, the school was buzzing with rumors. Students whispered in the hallways, and teachers avoided eye contact with Keisha. During lunch, one of her colleagues, Mr. Harris, approached her. "Keisha," he said quietly, "be careful. Some of the parents are really upset. They're talking about going to the school board." Keisha nodded. "I know, but I can't back down. Not now." That evening, a parents' meeting was held in the school auditorium. Keisha stood at the front, facing a room full of angry parents. "Ms. Brown," one parent shouted, "why are you teaching our kids such negative things? You have no right to upset them like this." Keisha responded calmly but firmly. "History can be uncomfortable, but the truth is important for our students' future. If we don't teach them the truth, we'll keep making the same mistakes." Another parent stood up. "This school isn't a platform for your political agenda." Keisha looked the parents in the eye. "This isn't a political agenda. This is part of human history, and if we ignore it, we're only hurting our future." The room erupted into chaos. Parents shouted over each other, and the principal struggled to maintain order. Keisha stood her ground, her heart pounding, but her resolve unshaken. The next day, when Keisha walked into her classroom, all her students stood up. They held signs that read, "We deserve to know the truth." "Ms. Brown," one student, Maria, said, "we support you. We want to learn the truth, too." Keisha's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she said, "but this isn't just about me. This is a fight for all of us." The students started a march through the school hallways. Other classes joined in, and soon the entire school was filled with protesters. Teachers watched from their doorways, some smiling, others shaking their heads. The protest quickly went viral on social media. News outlets gathered outside the school, and Keisha gave an interview. "This isn't just about one teacher," she said. "This is a fight for our future. If we don't teach our kids the truth, how can we build a better world?" As public support grew, the parents' anger began to fade. But not everyone was convinced. One parent, Mr. Daniels, organized a counter-protest, claiming that Keisha was indoctrinating the students. The tension reached a boiling point when the school board called an emergency meeting. Keisha, the principal, parents, and students all gathered in the school gymnasium. Ms. Brown, one board member said, "We understand your passion, but we have to consider the concerns of the parents. Can you find a way to teach these topics without causing so much controversy?" Keisha took a deep breath. "I understand the concerns, but I can't water down the truth. These students deserve to know the full story, no matter how uncomfortable it is." The room fell silent. Then Maria stood up. "I'm just a student," she said, her voice trembling but strong. "But I think Ms. Brown is right. We need to know the truth if we're going to make things better." One by one, other students stood up, sharing their thoughts. By the end of the meeting, even some of the parents had changed their minds. The school board decided to allow Keisha to continue teaching her lessons, but with additional support for students who might find the topics difficult. A few weeks later, Keisha walked into her classroom to find her students beaming with pride. "Today," she said, "we didn't just learn about history, we learned about the power of change. You all made a difference in this school." The students smiled at each other. Keisha wrote a new sentence on the board. "The future is shaped by those who know the truth." As the school year came to an end, Keisha received a letter from Maria. "Dear Ms. Brown," it read, "you taught me to stand up for what I believe in. Because of you, I want to be a teacher too." Keisha held the letter close, tears streaming down her face. She knew the fight wasn't over, but she also knew she wasn't alone. Keisha Brown wasn't just a teacher. She was a leader who changed the future by teaching her students the truth. So, how many more Keishas are out there in our education system, and what can we do to make sure their voices are heard? Maybe the answer lies within all of us. This brings us to the end of this story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story, if you did. Don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends, too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.